Okay, we're back. So if you missed that, I just shut my computer down. I just pushed a button that irreversibly shut down my computer midstream. Not ideal, but that's okay. By the way, shout out Paranormal Dare. If you guys want to subscribe, your name will pop up right there. Feel free, feel free. But yeah, if you were here, you're gone now. But maybe you'll come back. All right, I need to fix a few things. So let me just see what happens. See if we can get this sorted. I just thought I'd go live straight away. So if anyone came across it, you can jump back in while I kind of set everything back up again. There's not much to do, but I just wanted to set up the GeoGuessr game for in a second once we finish the Wordles, and then that's pretty much it, honestly. Get the Valorant ready to go. Scary. Literally don't know how to play. Okay, here's this. Yes. Grab the 2 links. Yes. Okay, we can play. All right. All right, cool. All right, let's jump in on daily survival today. Got to get 7 rounds without getting the word. Got to follow the rules. And we're going to start off with plain. No, that's such a bad word. I know you guys are going to roast me so bad for that. Let's start off with let's try penny. That's great. This is what we want. We want to keep grey. We want to keep grey squares as much as possible. Okay. But now we don't have those letters, so it gets harder every time. What about like oh, that's not a word. What about shout? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. What about no, we can't do any of that. Can't do any of that. So something that's going to go sewing. U T O tutor. Oh, this is bad. This is so bad. Okay, we've got to go TU to turbo. Hardest game on the internet, you guys. If you haven't tried it, you should try it. It is hard. You know what? I need to fix something. So what I did was when I just shut down my computer, I just pushed a button on the Stream Deck that is in the same spot as where I normally make like a clip. But it doesn't make a clip. It shuts the computer down. So, and I don't know how to stop it either. I don't know if there's a way to do that. A way to like cancel. Not sure. Anyway, I'm just going to move the spot that it's in. That one can go. Yeah, that can go there. That can go up there. Okay. That's fine. All right, that's heaps better. I know that means nothing to you, but it makes a big difference for me. All right, let's go. Have we got any other Wordles to play? I can't even remember what we did before. We've done Survival. We've done Wordle, Global. I guess we can do Absurdal. Nah, we don't need it. We don't need it. All right, let's jump in on GeoGuessr. Apparently, I've been accidentally watching this video. All right. All right, guys, time for another Rainbolt Daily Challenge. Well, we've got one goal. We've got one goal. That is to beat Trevor Rainbolt at one of the 5 locks. So let's jump into it. We've got 40 seconds. No moving, no panning, no zooming. and let's see how we go. I already know the audio is not going to work. Here we go. Losing time here. Oh, it's just my audio is not working. Oh gosh, this is so bad. This is a disaster. Alright, I'm finally looking at this. Okay, 10 seconds to go. Looks like somewhere in BC maybe? Maybe I'll just go something like here. Don't know. I think we're very north. It's obviously US with the yellow lines. Wow, we weren't that north. Crazy. That's crazy. Alright, I need to connect my headphones because I need to be able to hear it. I think you guys can hear it, but I can't. Today, I'm not a professional streamer, that's for sure. Let's try... Interesting. Okay, let's see if that works then. Alright, on to round 2. Let's do it. I'm torn between two places and it might not be either. I think this is in Brazil. But the soil looks a little bit like Cambodia with that dark red soil. But I think I have to commit to Brazil here. Where? I don't really know. Let's just go here somewhere. No idea. It was Argentina. Okay, that's alright. That's not too bad. Alright, on to round 3. Okay. This, I think, has to be Philippines, maybe? We've got the bike. We've got these massive tree plantations of palms. I think that means we're going to be Philippines. Could be anything. Could be Indo. Could be Thailand. I feel pretty good about Philippines. I can't get any other information besides that, but I do think that if you just go like somewhere quite, maybe southern actually. I'll go quite southern. Probably more chance of palm trees. Let's see how we go. Okay, it was Indo. Not good, not bad. I think that I think Trevor's gonna know at the very least that it was probably Indonesia. That's so interesting. I don't think the number plate was Indonesian. See if Trevor picks up on that. Well, we've got this red soil again. I think this one is definitely Brazil. Shouldn't say that. Terrible thing to say. Now I just have to throw it in and just look like an idiot if it's not. Okay, it was, but it was right up here north, which I didn't even know. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what it looked like. Now we do. Last round. Let's see how we go. Ooh, hello, urban. I guess we're probably in Colombia or Ecuador. We have these, that kind of looks like a Mexican pole, but I think this is Colombia. I'm gonna go on Medellin here and just, oh man. You guys haven't even able to see that, that's terrible. All right, are we in Colombia? Whoa, yeah. Literally just. All right, man, my streamer points are bad today. They are just bad. I've been streaming nothing. That's shocking. All right, let's move over to 10 seconds. All right, guys, Rainbow Daily Challenge. This is 10 seconds, no moving, panning, or zooming. It's hard. It's really hard. And our goal, as always, if you haven't been here before, our goal is to beat Trevor Rainbow at one of the 5 locations. That's all. Just the one. Not claiming to be a pro. We're just going for one. We need basically what usually happens is he kind of fumbles one and we kind of get lucky. But you never know. And that's the fun thing about the daily challenge is you never know. So let's jump in on it and see how we go. Actually, not a clue. Did I register? Didn't even get it. And I wasn't close anyway. Holy dooly, that was bad. Alright, round 2. Let's get a guess in this time. Actually, no idea again. Going Estonia, maybe? Ooh, don't like it. Don't like it. Oh my goodness, that's the US? Oh, that hurts. Okay. This might be Spain. I didn't get my timer. That's Turkey anyway. Gosh, like, was there literally so much information on that, wasn't there? Let's have a look. I don't know enough. I don't know about which countries have this type of arrow chevron thing. But I'm glad to see there was no bollards because I do know what Turkish bollards look like because they're the same as Australia. Okay, so red dot in there is Turkey. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right, we've been shocking so far. Let's go to round 4. Let's get one good guess in here. Come on. Really, South Sweden, maybe somewhere down here. Oh man, 10 seconds is so hard. That's Finland, not Sweden. Okay. I didn't mean to click on that. All right. On to round 5. It is Russia, but I have absolutely no clue. I'd go like here somewhere. Unless this is an incredible guess. I don't even think we're watching Rainbow Bladers. No, not an incredible guess. Almost not even Russia. But yeah, did know it was Russia because there was a little... I'll show you. Just this little black bit here, pretty much. Plus just the general vibe. Looked a bit Russian. All right, cool. Well, I don't even think we're watching Rainbolts here. This has just been bad. It's been bad. So I'm gonna boot up Valorant. I've never played this game my entire life, and I hope that there's a tutorial because that's what I'm gonna play. So Epic. I don't even know how to boot this game, to be totally honest. I got no clue. And I need audio. Why do I not have any audio? Oh, here we go. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay, I've got 1 minute of installing. In the meantime, do I have, like, am I going to get audio from this? Audio input, audio output capture. Game? I don't really know if this is going to work. No. Yeah, we'll find out. We're going to find out. Apparently we've got 40 seconds. I'll be back in a sec. How about that? working again? All right. Okay, email. Do I get the Jack Bing username? That's the real question. Ooh, maybe we do. That's crazy. Terms of service making you scroll to the bottom like anyone is reading that. Oh, we can't have Jack Bing. Okay. Maybe this. Sorry, I know you guys can see literally nothing right now, but I don't know what to tell you. I'm signing up to a thing. This is just one of those streams that just no one needs to ever watch back. Okay, we've got a thing. We've got to log in now. Come on, I just want to play. Why does it make me do so many things? Install? Oh, man. You're kidding. Your right ID. You need a right ID. Right ID. You put first name here. I don't know what my right ID is. Why do I have to have? Why do I need that? This is crazy. I can't show you this stuff because you will find a way to like hack me or something, you know? I can't show you things like emails and that. Can I change this? I'm going to go to gaming. VALORANT. Verifying ID. Okay. Yeah, just don't worry about that right now. Let's try. Does this have to add up? Okay, 5 characters here. What if this is really long? You still have to have 5. Okay. What do people use for this? Like, what should I make my ride ID? I guess I can change it says. But I just don't understand why I have to have a number on there. Let's just go for 2828. It's like a number that I like, I guess. Okay, so now I've got that. Now, can I do this? Yes, yes. Okay, I don't know how long this is going to take. So what I think we're going to do is, while this installs, I'm going to watch a video. And then we're going to play. But I'm hoping that we can find a great video that's going to give me some great quality insight into how to play. All right, what do we got? Kaide, let's go. Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaide and I'm a Valorant content creator. Today
Okay. Let's watch Kaide. She can show us how to do it. Let me just check and make sure that this is actually... let me just make sure this is definitely working.
Hi everyone, my name is
Like, installing is what I'm trying to say. I'll put it over on this other screen over here. Okay, yes, it's installing. Cool. We're like 13% of the way through. All right. Tell us how to do it, Kaide. Let's find out.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaide and I'm a Valorant content creator. Today I'm going to be going over the basics of Valorant and I'll also be giving you guys some tips and tricks to help you out. First, let me explain what the game Valorant is. Valorant is a team-based 5v5 first-person tactical shooter. There are many unique agents and abilities in the game as well. Players control characters known as agents who have different abilities to use during the game. Before we deep dive into the basics, let's go over optimizing your guys' settings. Valorant settings can be important for improving game clarity, maximizing your performance, and finding the right balance between visibility and performance. Different settings can help with different aspects of the game. Messing with your settings can be super overwhelming at times because there are so many different options, but what I personally did was look at the people who have played the game a lot and kind of copied their settings and then tweaking it to my liking. When I first started playing the game, I copied settings from my favorite pro player 10s, which I would say is probably the best way to go about it, or you could also ask some of your friends who play as well. I'm going to be introducing you guys to some of the Valorant agents. I know it can seem a little bit daunting at times.
I don't have a favorite pro player, so I'm probably just going to copy Kaide's settings, I guess. I'd never really watched Kaide before, but I'm appreciating this video a lot.
Times because there are quite a few agents, but we'll go over some of my personal favorites and then we'll deep dive more into the certain roles that each of the agents fall into. But one of my favorites personally is Killjoy. She's super fun to play in my opinion. Another one of my favorites would be Omen. He's super cool. He is a smoke agent, super cool. I also love Viper. Viper was actually one of the first agents that I started playing alongside Phoenix. I personally don't play him anymore, but he's still a lot of fun to play. All right, everyone. Now that we have all of that out of the way, I have 5 basic tips.
As a beginner, I don't know what that means. I understand that agents are probably the people you're playing with and they've probably got specific, unique skills, but I don't know what those are.
That can help
from what I've just heard.
Help you guys get better at Valorant. All right, so the first tip that I have for you guys is figuring out what role works best for you. So there are 4 specific roles in Valorant, and I will be going over those. First is duelist. They like to duel, basically. So they seek out engagement, they get in fights, and they also take space for their team to get in onto site. Second, initiator. These are the agents that are going to be getting info for the team to be able to get in onto site. Third, Controllers. These are the smoke agents. They are the ones who both help take areas of the map and also control the pace of the game. Having a really good controller player is super, super important.
So I think what I'm gathering here, and maybe Kaide's about to explain it, is that there is specific people that have smoke that essentially are like making the map look different to your advantage. I think that's what's happening. I think that they're putting physical boundaries in place so that you might get some kind of advantage the way you're playing as a team. I think that's what I'm gathering.
Important. I honestly think it's one of the most important roles. And lastly, sentinels. They are the ones who are the best at stalling and trying to defend certain positions and sites. So now that I've gone over the 4 roles, you guys can get a better understanding of what you feel like you would fit into. A lot of beginners like to either play duelist because obviously it's very fast paced. You're taking a lot of fights, you know, there's a lot of like high risk, high reward sort of situations. I play sentinel and controller. Those are the kind of agents that I personally prefer to play. It's a little bit more slower paced, kind of work the map, that sort of situation. So now for tip number 2, having a basic understanding of what the agent abilities do. And it can be really daunting and confusing at times when you are beginning, but the more you play, the easier it's gonna be. You're gonna run into the same agents on certain maps and you're gonna get a feel. Obviously, when you first start out, it might, again, feel a little bit overwhelming, but the more you play, the better you're gonna get and the more understanding you're gonna have over all of these agents. One example that I will give to you guys would be one of my mains, Omen. He has smoke abilities, so he has 2 smokes. He has a blind, which is super, super important to help get in onto site as well. And he has a TP ability. Every agent has their own kit that is unique to them. Having a basic understanding of what each of the agents do can really—
As I was saying before, I feel like you just got to maybe just play with them to know which ones kind of suit your style. Interesting.
really help out when you are in a game so you can be ready for all of the utility that will be coming your way. The 3rd tip that I have for you guys is communication and team play. Communication is what creates a team-based game. It is the core of it. It's how you guys can communicate to execute certain plans and work together to win the game. There are a few options for communicating to your team. The number one that I do recommend is using your voice chat to talk to your team to communicate. Another system that Valorant has as well, for those of you guys who don't have mics or don't feel the most comfortable using it, would be the ping system. There's a cog wheel and you are able to communicate with your team, let them know what you want to do.
Ooh, I feel like if you're doing this, you might be letting your team and yourself down. Maybe, I don't know. I've never played the game, like I said, but this feels way too slow.
Which is really, really good.
Imagine sending a caution here ping, like you're dead.
I highly urge you guys to use your mics when you are playing Valorant, because at the end of the day, using your voice is the best way to get across what you and maybe what your team also wants to do. With that being said, there is a difference between communication and distracting communication. When you're coming up with strategies to help out with the team, it can be really easy to get kind of carried away with talking too much. So it's best to keep it really concise and clear and get to the point. Also, another thing is, when you are dead, if you don't have any useful information to say, it is best to stay quiet, because there are a lot of people that can get a little bit overwhelmed when there are a lot of voices while they are trying to play. The best thing is that making sure that you respect the other players and their different playing styles, as well as communication styles as well, for high success rate in ranked or swift play or unrated. Also in communication, using callouts on maps is super important. Obviously, when you're first getting started out, you're gonna get a feel for things. If you take a look at each map, there are certain areas that Valorant has labeled as well. Sometimes the community calls them different things than it is stated. If you are new, you can just stick to what is on the map. For example, on Haven, if there is an enemy in garage window, you'd want to say, I saw one in garage window, or I saw one C long. Being specific with where certain enemies are can be really helpful for your teammates, so try to keep it very concise and clear. Try not to always overgeneralize where someone could be. Another thing too is team play. Obviously, there are going to be 4 other people in the game with you. Trying to get along is the best virtue if you are wanting to win. Being toxic off rip is honestly not the best way to go about it. You want to try to be super positive and encouraging.
Scary. Team play, it's a team game. Like, you have to be on a team. That's scary. Only because I'm not good at it. I feel like that's freaky as.
A team that communicates together wins together. All right, everyone. So for the 4th topic, I have team synergies with roles and agent abilities. I'm gonna have Tyson actually hop into a custom lobby with me so we can kind of go over a few examples of what this means specifically. For this, I'm gonna give a few examples so you guys can get a overall idea. So we're gonna do Killjoy and Omen together. Then we're gonna do a Jet Sova, and then we'll do a Fade Raze combination. So first,
Officially, I know that I'm going to learn, and I'm about to learn what these things mean, but currently, that was like a different language.
we are going to show you what Fade and Raze can do together. But yeah, with that being said, Valorant is super, super unique in the sense that there are tons of different agents and different combinations that you can do to pair together to win the game. So I'm going to be playing Raze and Tyson is going to play Fade. And we are going to give you guys a few examples of what you can do to pair these two in particular together. The most common one being the Raze nade and the Fade tether. The Fade sees, what it does is when you throw it towards the direction of an enemy, it will keep them in a certain area and decay their HP for a set period of time. So with that being said, when you combine the C's at the same time as you throw a nade, all right, 3, 2, 1, it's a deadly combination. Or another really good one, Fade ult, when you throw it and it hits an enemy, all right?
Face your fear!
See you guys? The audio, I can't hear anything, and I'm also decayed for a certain period of time. The really good thing is that you can combine that with an ability like the Raze Rocket.
My ult's ready.
Boom. Deadly combination. So the next combination that I have for you guys is Killjoy and Omen. Specifically on this map on Haven, your Killjoy and your Omen will be working together on C site to hold it down. So I'm gonna get into what Omen and Killjoy can do together to hold down a site on defense. So we are defending right now, and we hear enemies walking up C long. The Omen is going to smoke off the choke point.
Shadows traveling.
Once that happens, we either are going to hold the smoke or, which in most cases a lot of Killjoy players do, is play a little bit more passive and back and let their util work for them. We hear them getting ready to run out of the smoke. What I am going to do is ask for Tyson. Tyson, Omen player, could you please paranoia, C long? With that pairing while I hear them, I'm going to double pop my mollies. Either they're gonna be fully blind
Bomb grenade out.
and running in, or while they're running into the molly, I can also shoot them. And that is how Omen and Killjoy can work together to hold down a site. So now we are on C side attack, everybody. This is Sova. He is a initiator. He is the one who gets info for the duelists to be able to make space for the team. So they are going to be darting back site, and with Jet is the duelist. They are the ones that make space for the team, get in, take the fights, right? So what we're going to do is our Sova is going to do the dart, basically tags anybody who is within line of sight. As you can see, these lines everywhere, and that tells Jet where certain players could be. So I'm going to proctor my dash, and my Sova is going to dart.
Revealing area.
I'm going to smoke and dash in.
The reason it's really strong is because Jet, when she dashes in, basically creates space, but since Jet is dashing into her own smoke, it creates like a safe space for Jet to sit inside where enemies have to choose to kind of get lucky and spam the Jet through the smoke. The Sova, because his dart gives wall hacks, the Jet can safely sit in the smoke and shoot people that are scanned outside of it.
Yes.
And that's why it's a really good combo.
And it's annoying for the defenders as well, because they either have to choose to kill the Jet, which offsets the crosshair from all the rest of the enemies flooding in on site, or they have to pick to shoot the people who are long, But with that being said, the Jett could peek out and kill you. All right, everyone. Now we are going to get ready to move on to the last tip, which is number 5, movement. This
I feel so overwhelmed. Holy dooly.
is basically what differentiates Valorant from a lot of other tactical FPSs. Like, one of the most important tips that I would give to anybody who is shooting, you want to stop and shoot. Running and shooting most of the time is not going to be in your favor. There are certain guns like the Frenzy or the Spectre that will be a little bit more lenient for when you are moving and shooting. But Vandal, if you run and you shoot, the spray is going to be extremely inaccurate, making it really, really hard for you to be able to hit a target. Another thing as well is counter strafing. Counter strafing is basically where you strafe from side to side at the same time as you shoot, but it hits this target because you are stopping before you shoot and then moving, stopping before you shoot. So when you get really comfortable with it, you will hit basically the target in the same spot while you move, making it really hard for the enemy to shoot you, but you're hitting like the dead center of them. Obviously, I'm not the best at it, but
This is what happens when you're downloading a game
learning
time as
movement
watching
like
a
that
video.
can make you stand out in comparison to other players.
Internet's
Now we're going to be
terrible
moving
right
on to jiggling and jump spotting, and then also kind of like the differences between the two and situationally when it's best to use it. Jiggling is a quiet way to get passive information. As you can see, it's Tyson jiggling this way. I can only see like a little bit of his body, not his full body. So you're jiggling like this to get info on where someone could possibly be. It's a very quiet way to get information. It's a little bit more difficult for enemies to hit you in comparison to fully swinging out without any information at all. Next would be jump spotting. Jump spotting is when you jump around a corner, and this is also pretty difficult for enemies to hit you. But this is really, really good against an operator.
So the reason that's good against ops is because normally oppers post on the angle, and when you jump spots, it causes the opper to have to flick and hit a harder shot rather than just having to click a button. So they're actually gonna have to move their crosshair towards you and then shoot, which is definitely a lot harder than just holding the angle and
Shooting.
basically playing a reaction time test.
Yeah, keep in mind Tyson is very good
Oh, you want me to
at
do
jump
my normal
spotting.
way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll do my normal way.
Wait, that's actually insane. And you can see me like that? That actually looks insane from my POV. All right, guys, now we're going to talk about when we should wide peek versus just jiggle peeking. So jiggle peeking is situationally when you aren't really sure where an enemy could be. So it's a good way to get info passively without making any noise. As for wide peeking is when you know exactly where someone is and you feel like you have a favorable 1v1 to take. That's when you wide swing out, killing the enemy. And when to crouch. This is a question that I actually get asked pretty often, and I've given the same answer pretty consistently. But in my opinion, crouching is not the best when you take fights all of the time. I would say it's situational. In my opinion, if you are in a 1v2 against somebody and you swing out and you instantly crouch trying to go for the kill, it'll be really difficult to flick to the next person that would be swinging out to try to trade them. Right? With that being said, in a 1v2 situation, or sometimes even in a 1v1, it is best to try to keep your crosshair pretty level instead of just crouching right off rip.
What crouching fundamentally does is it makes your hitbox like a little bit smaller, but reduces the amount of movement speed you have. It also allows you to have a little bit more accurate shots. You'll notice when you're crouching, your bullets go a little bit more in space than when you're standing. So situationally, you can use it to kind of gain more accuracy when you need it, especially on long range fights. I think that crouching could be pretty decent, especially with ADSing and crouching at the same time. You'll make sure your bullets mainly go straight.
All right, the last thing that we're going to talk about, you guys, which is obviously pretty niche, but these are movement characters like Raze or Jett. The reason why Jett and Raze are really, really good and they are also very highly picked is because of the amount of aerial movement that they provide for the team. Obviously, not every duelist is going to have this, and that being the reason why it sets them apart. It can make it really, really difficult for people to shoot them in the air, and this is why they are really, really good as well. That being said, you can actually practice movement with Raze, like the double satcheling ability, which makes her a little bit more difficult to track in the air, or Jett when she's up in the air and gliding and shooting you with her ultimate, which are her knives. All right, everyone, this is the end of this video. I hope that this video was helpful for those of you guys who are new to the game, or even some of you guys who have been playing for a while. Bye.
Well, that's very intimidating. Shout out Kaido for the video. I don't know. Here's the thing anyway. We are not playing today because it's not downloading. It's taking way too long. So I think I'm just going to call it at that. Yeah. I'm going to edit and post a couple of videos, a couple of shorts for tomorrow. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Sorry that was a bit of like average stream. It was honestly, so many things went wrong today, but that's all right. Day 7.